Hello students, this is Professor Green. This will be a brief video about an overview about the syllabus and a look at the weekly schedule and key due dates. So just as a reminder, the syllabus and the weekly schedule plus the key due dates document, that will be found under the mini content browser where it says syllabus and weekly schedule. Or you can go to the content tab and just look at content and go to syllabus and weekly schedule there on the left on the menu tree there. So let's start with the course syllabus. So again, you would click on that, it will open it up like this. However, I already have it opened up. I prefer to use the PDF downloaded version, but this is what you'll see on D2L. You can download it as a PDF as well on your device for offline use. I recommend that. Okay, so 100% online, you should know that by now. It is asynchronous. What that means is this course does not meet online at a particular time. However, all the instruction and all of the assignments are submitted online. We will have weekly modules. There are 8 weeks in this session, so it's very quick. We're going to have a quick turnaround on the 3 major assignments, and that's just part of an 8-week session. So basically, this is a semester, like 16 weeks put into 8 weeks. So that's why the 3 major papers, which are required by the English department in Kennesaw State, those are have a very quick turnaround time, and you'll see that in the due dates document later, but that's just the nature of having an 8-week class. Okay, so my name, email, I prefer you to email me. Please do not use the messaging system in D2L. That is not an email system. It is just a messaging system, and I prefer you to use your KSU Outlook email address. When you email me, you must use your KSU Outlook email address. If you use a Gmail or some other email address, Yahoo, whatever, I will not respond to that. What I'll do is I'll send you an email asking you to send it to me again using your KSU Outlook email address. So due to privacy violation or privacy law, I can't communicate with you on your personal email address, and that's very serious. So I ask you to respect that and only use your KSU Outlook email address to communicate with me. Office location is there. However, office hours are online through Teams since this is a 100% online class. So noon to 10 every Tuesday. However, I also can meet with you anytime that's convenient with you, Monday through Friday, that is, during basically like 8 to 5 kind of business hours. So you would email me and ask me if you want to meet, and we'll find a time that works for both of us. It's that simple. But it will be through the Microsoft Teams application. I'll create a link. It's really simple, and then you just click on the link to join the meeting. Okay, course description. You can read that later. The course materials. We'll look at the textbook in a minute, but this is an OER, meaning open online resource, open educational resource. It is an online textbook that is no cost to you, so you can thank me later for that. There's no cost to this class since I do not have a textbook that has any cost to it. Also, it's nice, there's no login, so you don't have to register a username or remember a password. You just click on the links and you can access the textbook. You'll see in the modules that I list, I have the direct links for the chapters and the sections in the chapters, so you don't have to actually scroll through and find the right section. I put the exact direct link to the section I want you to read for the week, so that makes it a little easier to use. So it's published by Rice University. Learning outcomes, you can read those when you have time. I want to make this brief. This is part of KSU's impacts area that includes the communication and writing area. So some of the learning outcomes are here. Some career-ready competencies, that's really important. We want you to develop your critical thinking, information literacy, and persuasion techniques and ability to analyze rhetoric and persuasive techniques. So continuing through this, you can read the course-specific learning outcomes when you have a chance. Those relate to the major assignments. This course essentially is, it brings me to the next part here, the course categories for the class, grade categories. It essentially is 3 major assignments, and each of those are listed here: personal narrative, rhetorical analysis, and argument paper, and then a 4th category, which is 30% of your overall grade. That equals all the assignments you'll do that are not major assignments that you submit through D2L. Of course, all your assignments are submitted through D2L, but if they're not one of these 3 major assignments, it is an engagement category grade. That is very important you understand that, because the late policy, which we will see in a minute, only relates to the 3 major assignments. There's no late work for the engagement category. You meet the deadline or you do not, so just keep that in mind. We'll talk about that in a minute. Rough drafts are optional but highly encouraged, so I want you to consider doing a rough draft, even if it's just half the word count. I'll make a push for that closer to the time that's due, but it's a way for you to get feedback, and it's really valuable, but it's optional. Okay, evaluation and grading policies. You see here above here, I just want to make sure I understand personal narrative is 20%, rhetorical analysis and the argument paper are 25% of your overall semester grade. Engagement category, which is will be numerous assignments, equals 30%, totals to 100%. Okay, moving on to evaluation grading policies. Typically, I will grade engagement assignments within about 3 days. Major assignments can be up to a week. I usually aim to have it done within 3 to 4 days, but a week is the maximum. But I average probably 4 business days to grade major papers, major assignments. This is the grading scale here. So 89.5 to 100 is an A, and you see I start with 0.4 at the next level. So 89.4 to 79.5 is a B. 79.5 to 89.4 is a B. 69.5 to 79.4 is a C. You'll see that. So obviously I round up at 0.5. So keep that in mind. That is for your semester grade. It's really important right here if you have any questions about your grade, that we don't handle that on email, okay? That's federal law. It's called FERPA. I will not get into that, but basically it means that I need to discuss grades on a secure, either in the office or a secure call through Teams. So that's how we will do that. You can certainly ask a question, but I will schedule a Teams meeting if it's about a grade, for an individual grade or a semester. Okay, course policies. Slow down here a little bit. It's really important. Make sure you understand all this. There's not a formal attendance policy, obviously, because it's asynchronous. However, you will have engagement activities and assignments, sometimes 2 a week, at least 1 a week for the each week of the semester, and that's how I keep you engaged, and that's how you prove to me that you are actually doing the work for this class. Late work. You have 24 hours to submit a major assignment after the due date, and you will earn a 15-point penalty. So I've got an example here. Let's say you submitted a major assignment, one of the 3 papers, within that 24-hour late turn-in window. You earn a 90. That's how I grade it. So I don't really grade with the late penalty in mind. I just subtract that after I grade. So let's say in this example, I grade your late paper in the 24-hour late turn-in window as a 90, but I subtract 15, so that becomes a 75. And that's how that will work. It's really important. After 24 hours, no credit is given for any major assignments. You cannot resubmit assignments either. Extensions, however, may be granted on a case-by-case basis, so you need to provide all the details you can if you have a situation that is extenuating or legitimately delayed you submitting it. So, but typically after 24 hours, no credit is given. You will not be able to submit it after 24 hours anyway. Late work is not accepted for any assignments in the engagement category. So that's really important you understand that. I'm going to say it one more time. The late work policy only applies to the 3 major assignments, the 3 papers. It does not apply to an engagement category. If you remember what I said earlier, the engagement category consists of all the assignments that are not the 3 major papers, okay? And of course, rough drafts are optional. There will be a due date for those, but there's no points attached to it. It's not a grade. It's just for feedback. So just remember this part here. All assignments, including the 3 major papers, are due Monday at 11:59 p.m. We'll look at the major due dates list in a minute. No emailed assignments, so if you do that, I will not look at it, okay? It's policy of KSU to use the D2L learning portal, so you need to use your Dropbox and D2L to submit all assignments. AI use. So you're expected to create your own work in this class. Your writing should be your writing. Any use of AI technology to generate content in this course is prohibited. So what that means is you can't actually use it in the work you submitted. It needs to be fully your work, 100% your work. I am very strict on this. I'm going to be frank with you and clear, like I'm being clear up front. So if you want to use AI, I would caution you, okay? It would actually be to your benefit not to use it. But how do I know it's AI? I use turn-in. We'll look at that in a minute. So Quillbot, I want to talk about that, is also considered an AI software. So if you use Quillbot or any other rewriting software, that is AI. However, if you use the word grammar checker, or Grammarly to do small, very, like a word here or there or a verb tense to change, that is not AI use. That's just grammar correction. Okay, it's not writing sentences for you. It's just actually correcting grammar. So that's okay. That's just a word here or there. That is all right to do. But there's really no ethical way to use AI in this course in 1101. Okay, if you're in my 1102 class, it would be different. But this is not a research-based writing class. So I want to say this again. It is in your best interest right here. You see it very cleanly stated. It is in your best interest for your grade and your writing skills to not use AI in this course. Okay, that's all I'll say about that part, except for turn-in is how I detect AI. So any final or rough draft with a similarity score of 25% or higher, or an AI score of 25% or higher is significant. So keep in mind there's a similarity score that you will see that does not reflect AI at all. It has nothing to do with AI. So understand that. And I put that on here. Okay, the similarity score you see does not identify AI. So how do I know? Okay, turn-in gives me, the professor, not you, but it gives me an AI score report. I look at that report. If it's 25% or higher, I will upload it in your feedback. If your score is 40% or higher on the AI report, you'll see that in your feedback as a report, and it will highlight which text is AI and which text is original content. What will happen is it's a simple math equation. So if this is your final draft, one of your 3 final drafts, and you have a turn-in AI score of 60%, that means your final grade is 40%. Another example is you have an AI score of 45%. That means your grade will be 55. Okay, what it deems as your original content. I will not grade it like I would normally grade a paper. I just take the turn-in report. So you really want to stay under, if you're concerned about turn-in and you're at 40% or more, that is will definitely have a harmful effect for your grade. So again, the basic understanding for you needs to be not to use AI. I'm warning you. I'm telling you not to do it. This is 2 of the 3 papers are really creative works, creative nonfiction works, and you don't really need to use any. There would be no reason to even try to use AI. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions about this, but it's very clearly stated in the syllabus. All right, institutional policies are here. You can look at those later. ADA, if you have a disability, contact the Student Disability Services Office and have them send me a SDS letter, it's called, and then I'll know what accommodations need to be made. I take that seriously, and we'll work with your approved plan. But it must come from the SDS office, not yourself. So that's how that works. Some other links here. Use the Writing Center. I encourage that. I'll talk about the Writing Center later in the semester. And that's it. The last thing here, if there are any changes to the schedule or the syllabus, I will notify you with an announcement, and this, as the syllabus sometimes does change throughout the semester. That is the syllabus, and I want to look at a couple other things. This is the weekly schedule, just really quickly, very simply, week by week schedule, easy to understand, week 1 through week 8. Okay, got a couple things highlighted about the Teams check-in that I'm assigning you as an assignment. If you choose not to meet with me, then it'll just be a 0 on that assignment. But I really want to encourage you to do that. I'll schedule that later. You'll have a way to sign up for that through Microsoft Forms. So those are the weeks. You can look at that later, but it's very simply laid out the whole semester. The 3 major assignments are listed here, the due dates, like you see here. Monday, July 21st is the argument paper, and then going up a little bit more here. July 7th is the rhetorical analysis, and I have that also for the personal narrative right here, Monday, June 16th. It is a very quick turnaround time. You've got to move quickly on these assignments because it's an 8-week semester. Okay, key due dates. I've given you a very simple 1-pager on all your due dates, okay, and other important dates, not just due dates. So you can read this later, but it mostly consists of rough draft due dates, final draft due dates, and then any important dates like last day withdrawal from the course right here, or the drop add period ends on June the 3rd here. There's also an extra credit opportunity. That is in the weekly schedule as well, but that'll be due July 23rd, and that is on the syllabus towards the end. It says it right here, due July 23rd. Okay, but you will not get that assignment till the last week. That is it for we've covered syllabus, weekly schedule, and key due dates. That is it for now. Please email me if you have any questions.